Now, before you get started with this project, here's a couple things you're going to need. Okay, let's let the dude with the super loud pipes go by. Going to need a hammer, obvious reasons. Going to need a chalk box for your string lines. Going to need something to mark with. Little pry bars help. Chisels, you may need a chisel for 100 other different reasons. Also, if you're going to be doing the painting, good paint scraper. You may have some old paint you need to scrape. You're going to need some fasteners, 2-inch deck screws. Do not use sheetrock screws, people. I see that all the time. Sheetrock screws are for sheetrock on the inside, not outside. Not for anything else other than sheetrock. Also use 2-inch galvanized nails. You can go 2.5 inch if you wanted to. Obviously a drill, some clamps may come in handy, and of course a circular saw to cut that siding. And this is, I mean, these are basic tools. Most of you probably already have, and if you don't, there'll be a link down below to for some of them. You check the prices on Amazon and get what you don't have. But this right here will help you replace that rotting T111 siding. Okay, this is a little project I got going on right now. This is a kind of a commercial job. This shed here is pretty rough. You can see the lower end of the siding's rotted, and instead of replacing all the siding, because the upper siding's pretty good, actually it's real good, it's been painted pretty good. So what I did was snap me a chalk line, and I'm going to just replace the lower 12 inches of the siding. That's all it needs. This is rotted, up here is good. So what I did was, I didn't measure from the bottom up, I measured from the top down, because I have a consistent soffit I could measure off of. Here you're not really sure, because some of the wood's missing. So anyway, we're going to do that. We're going to repaint this shed, and we're going to repair the shingles. I got 2 double doors in the back to make, but right now this video is just about how to replace this rotted siding at the lower side. And like I said, I see my string line, and I'm just taking my circular saw, setting the depth just to the depth of the siding only. So it's this is about a 5/8, so my saw is set to about 5/8, and I'm cutting through there. And let me bring you back when I get it cut. I didn't bring my tripod, so you can see where I've already cut it. And then when I get done, we're going to take some Z-flashing, stick up in there. Then we're going to cut 12-inch strips of cross-cut 12-inch strips of new siding. Paint the edges before we put it in there. And then we're going to put it in there, and then we'll paint the whole mess. So pretty simple. Okay, I got that bottom 12 inches or so cut out, pulled off. You can see down in here, well, you can see that the rim joist, ooh, keep seeing spiders come out of there. You can see the rim joist, it's wet in some areas, it's not too bad in others. I'm going to leave this off for a while and let that dry out. Now the problem is, when it rains, water comes off here, hits the ground, splashes back up under there. And there's a couple ways we can combat that, and I'm going to recommend both of them to him. One is if we can come out, I don't know, 18 inches, so use like a landscaping border and put gravel in there, and that will break the water up as it hits. You'll still get some splash up, but not like this muddy stuff that splashes up and just keeps water there. The other thing is to put gutters on this thing, and I'm going to recommend both of those to him. Whether they do it or not, I don't care. It's not my shed. I'm doing the best I can with what I told them we could do, and so we'll go from there. And this isn't a cheap repair, so they may or may not want to go for it. He usually goes for everything I recommend, so we'll see. But that's the problem. You can see the groove where the rain beats, and it just splashes up on the underside of the siding and the rim board. Well, a lot of siding installers do not paint that underside of the siding, so it absorbs water and it rots. When I go back, I always paint the underside of the edge of the siding, just to prevent that. So anyway, I got one more the other side to do, and then 2 ends, and then I'll bring you back when I start on this. I may just leave this off today and let it dry out, but we have a small chance of rain tonight and tomorrow, so I don't know. Anyway, I'm out of here for right now. Next clip should be, I don't know, maybe Z flashing or something. We'll see. Okay, done showed you that I have it cut 12 inches. I've installed my Z flashing. I don't know if you can see that, but that's going to help to divert the water. I've taken one panel of T111 already, which is what he has on there. I've cut them in 1-inch strips, and I've primed the edges on the top, and I'm going to turn over and prime the edges on the bottom when this dries. We're using bins today. Yes, it is expensive, but for this type of application, it is awesome. Bullseye 123 would work too if you want to go with a cheaper option. I don't think it is as good as bins. Bins is really an interior primer, but it will work on, in my experience, on spot places on exterior. Actually, I'm going to prime this with bins too. I like it, and some people don't want to pay for it, and I'll go Bullseye 123. I do not use Kills. Just not the primer it used to be, in my opinion. So anyway, I'm going to let this dry, probably go get some lunch, come back, flip these, get the bottom edge, and I don't know if I'll get these on today or not. I'm going to try to talk him into leaving it open and letting this dry. But like I said earlier, we're supposed to get there's chances of showers tonight or in the morning, so I don't know. It's just one of those things, either or. So okay, let me get this, go to lunch, come back, get this on there. Now here's a tip that's going to save y'all a lot of time, heartache, frustration, etc., etc. When you're dealing with T111, or really, you know, any panelized wood, or any wood really, lay it flat, prime it, and paint it while it's laying flat. Don't matter if it's these strips that we're doing at the bottom or a full sheet. You will thank me later, especially T111, because the problem is T111 is so rough that if you use a roller over this, you'll leave a lot of areas that, you know, have air pockets, and then paint cracks in the future, and water starts getting in there. And this way, especially with this Ben's primer so thin, it actually soaks into the wood when it's laying flat. And then when you're done, because if you've ever tried to prime or paint this stuff, when it's hanging, you'll know that pain it is. And some people spray it, but even spraying will not get primer and paint into all these little crevices and stuff that needs to be sealed and protected. So that's just, and things just go better when you do it when they're laying down. So anyway, y'all remember that when you're dealing with T111 or any really wood. I like to paint and prime while it's laying down. So anyway, on to the rest of the video. Now here's a little tip when you're working on this, sure help you. Mark, especially if you're going to paint this, mark the center of your studs, just like I have here, down through there. So when you put the new piece on and it covers that up, you'll know where to put your fasteners, instead of having to measure and wonder and all that. You can count these a lot of times, but if your stud spacing's off, that's not going to help you. Just better go ahead and mark them while you got that off, and you know where the center of each stud is, and you can get a fastener in there. Let me show you this Z flashing detail. It has a piece of metal flange, maybe not that high, about 1 inch or so, that goes up under here, and then your other pieces of siding will come up under here. And when water comes down, it'll hit the Z flashing and go over the bottom siding. And these come in 10-foot lengths, and sometimes you get something that's like right there. I got to go back and redo that, not redo it, but I've got to push that up there and then nail it like I did here, through here to that inside flange to a stud, so it holds it in place. Now the old school alternative to Z-flashing was to this right here, where they put one piece of siding overlapping the bottom piece of siding, and that works, but I don't think it looks as good as Z-flashing. So when I get all this done, it should look a lot better and perform a lot better. So, but that's your, let me walk over here and show you Z-flashing. Well, let's see, I may have some down here. Try to stay in shade. It's August, it's hot, and I'm running out of shade on this side. Oh yeah, yeah. You're not going to see that. So, but I'll show you another piece later on. Now this is Z-flashing. This is my last piece on this side, and you see I can't do this with filming, but this long piece will go up under this siding here, and when you get done, it'll look like something right there. So water comes down, runs over this, and you want to leave an air gap between the top of the Z-flashing and this panel here. Otherwise, when it rains and if any water sits there on top of the Z-flashing, it will soak up into the siding. So just leave a little air gap, the water will dry out, and the bottom of the siding will not wick it up. So I'm gonna get off here, get this on, get this last piece of siding on, call it a day. And that's what it's going to look like. I like that last piece, but that's what it will look like. You see me prime and paint the ends, and then I'll come back and I'll prime this and paint. We're painting the whole thing, so then we'll be done. And that's really all you have to do to repair rotted siding on T111 building. And this is the final product. I know y'all like to see the finished product, and there it is. He wanted trim boards over the joint there. He thought it looked better. He wanted to put it at the bottom. I said no, because if you put it at the bottom, it's just going to be more water trap and stuff. Did not caulk these. I left the top of the, well, top and bottom of the trim open so that water can drain down over that Z-flashing, over the lower siding and off the building. If you caulk it, sooner or later water's going to get trapped in there, and it's going to sit there, soak into the wood and rot it. So that's the finished product.